So how does this happen? Obviously, we've seen these examples of these companies that have run into these problems. How do companies get stuck in the status quo?
It's a good question, especially when you think of companies like BlackBerry and Kodak, which were incredible innovators in their time. First off, it's pure psychology, right? Nobody likes change. I mean, we as human beings, as creatures, animals, whatever you want to think about, change is dangerous, it's scary. When we're comfortable, we don't want to do anything different. That's normal and that's natural. I think it happens in business even among these innovative types of companies like a Kodak and a BlackBerry, because innovation is inherently risky, but you don't have anything to lose. You might as well risk. So when you've risked so much and you've done so much and you've grown to a certain size, it's really hard to not fall into this comfort zone where you're like, gosh, this is really good. I don't want to go through that again. So there's two things. One is the fear of change. Change is hard. It's uncomfortable. And then number two really is this feeling of, oh my gosh, we kind of made it. I don't want to do that again. I mean, that's really hard. And anybody who started businesses can tell you that it's extremely stressful and exhausting and tiring. It taxes your whole team. And so really those two forces are what drives a company to settle into a complacency that can be very dangerous.
But clearly, this is not a problem that all companies face. Some organizations have managed to break out of the status quo. Can you discuss a company that's a good example of someone who constantly challenges the status quo?
Absolutely. I think every company does face it, but some take proactive steps to really address that. And one would be, and anyone who's heard me give up other speaking engagements has heard me talk about Virgin. I'm a big fan of how they've continued to push themselves. Richard Branson started with a record store a long time ago.
It's a big change from what it is today.
Yeah, and he has, they have space travel now. In Europe, they have gyms and financial management companies. They have hot air ballooning. This seems completely insane, right? And not all of these things are going to work. But he's continuing to, within a platform and a structure, push the company to continue to think beyond its boundaries. And so that doesn't mean that they don't have failures, like I said, but they are continuing to push the envelope and establish a culture of change and innovation and risk taking. And that's really important and really hard to do, because like I said, it's very, very, very hard to push yourself out of the comfort zone, and especially to do it for yourselves. It's really hard to see yourself in that kind of way, which I think is where Frog Dog often is able to help, is we're a third party who can kind of come in and say, here's what's going on,
Yeah.
and here's some things you need to think about.
Definitely, yeah. And for a final question, what advice would you give to CEOs who want to avoid the status quo pitfall?
So I think one of the knee-jerk things when we propose changes and come in and look at what's happening and say, here, to continue to grow, this is some of the stuff you need to think about. A knee-jerk reaction we often hear is, well, that's a big risk, that's going to cost a lot of money, that's going to be different than anything we've done before. Couldn't we just keep doing what we're doing? Again, they're just, that comfort zone is huge, it's a big pull. And sometimes what we have to do is flip the lens and say, well, what would happen if you didn't do this? So if your competitor did this, what would that mean for you? If you don't enter a new market, what would that mean for you? If we don't find a new audience for this particular product, and its existing market is shrinking, what does that mean? So instead of just thinking about what it's going to cost, also think about what you're going to lose. And that's sometimes the impetus that will get people to go, oh yeah, okay, I need to really think about that. I think, it's just something you need to continue to remind yourself as a company, right? Like that if something feels safe, it may not be the right choice. Not that it's not, right? But if making a decision,
think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. If it feels really comfortable and it seems the obvious choice, you may want to rethink it and think about, wait a second, why does this feel comfortable? Is it because it's what I've always been doing? Is it because it's just perpetuating the norm? Is it because it perpetuates the status quo? I also think, having a really clear direction on where you're trying to go with the business, what you're trying to do. At Frog Dog, we come in and we say, well, what are your business goals? What are you trying to achieve? So that we can build strategies and plans that help them get there. And what I'm often surprised to see is that, especially once a company has reached a status quo point and they're comfortable, they may have set goals and objectives when they were first starting out, but now they're like, well, we'd like to grow a little bit, or we want to grow. Well, how much do you want to grow? What do you want to do? What does that mean to you? They really aren't able to define that. So I think that's something that they need to really think through and ask themselves. And I think just continuing to evaluate your situation and realize that everything is fine today, so it'll be fine tomorrow is a complete fallacy. You can't be that sure about anything.
Things are always changing.
Always changing, and it's a huge benefit, to look at yourself continually and look at how you're doing things continually and look at opportunities and changes in the marketplace. And that isn't something you do once and then you just set it and forget it.
Right.
You have to keep doing it, and it's often hard to see yourself. So, commercial warning, but I think that's where Frog Dog brings a lot of value. Is we're able to come in and we have a very structured process we can take companies through to look at the market, what's happening with the competition, what the status quo actually is today, both within the company but also for the prospect client, to think through messages, to think through new market opportunities. And every single company we work with has learned something through that process. I think it helps to have somebody who's just strategy focused. This is what we do. We've done it for almost 20 years. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. We've done it for almost 20 years now. Come in and say, here's what we're seeing, and here's what we're doing, and that's a huge value and benefit to them. So yeah, even if you don't bring anybody in from the outside, I would definitely say keep looking at what you're doing, and if there's a way to do it better, you probably should consider taking action. Well, thanks, Samantha. This was fun. It was good to sit here and talk with you a little bit.
Thank you for sharing your insights on
absolutely.
this real business issue and how companies can really make some great changes.
Definitely. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.